What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Apocalypse Movies. Jake and Keith back here for an official review of The Girl in the Spider's Web, the brand new movie that has come out from the Girl in the Dragon Tattoo storyline. It is not a direct sequel or anything to the David Fincher film that starred Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig from a number of years ago. I think it's like 14 years, 12 years ago. It's like over a decade, I think.
The Fincher one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It was only that long
Or maybe
ago?
it was 2011, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like
it was a while ago. And,
Yeah.
and the sequel, they were supposed to do a sequel, then they didn't do a sequel, and then they kind of did this where it was almost like a reboot-quel in a way.
It's a weird thing where it's not a sequel to that movie.
But it's a sequel to the story.
sequel to the stories,
Because they reference it with the magazine, with the author, who was Daniel Craig's role in Fincher's movie.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not, this is going to be a spoiler review. We may get into a few things here that'll be spoiler territory, but I don't have any prior knowledge with this franchise other than the Fincher film.
Okay.
I haven't read the books. I haven't really done any major research on it, and so I don't know a whole lot about the Lisbeth Salander character.
Millennium series.
I know that she's a vigilante. She rights the wrongs of men who attack women, which is described in this film very much so.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I never got that vibe in the Fincher film. And I'd have to re-up it and watch it.
Well,
but it feels like a very, very different kind of character.
She had a thing in the Fincher film, and obviously in the book where she was assaulted. And she went after the guy that did it. So I think maybe from there that's when she.
Which makes sense.
Decided to start.
Which makes sense, and she's full on vigilante in this movie.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, it's kind of cool.
Awesome. Well, she's a hacker.
Cool. Yes.
And my thing was, so Jacob and I did the trailer reaction for the second trailer maybe a month ago, and the trailer makes it look like she's like this super spy,
like an action hero,
flying around kicking people, and she doesn't. She's not that.
It's funny because the director said it is more James Bond than it is Lisbeth Salander. Can you see that? Where she's almost in a way with the hacker vibe.
So here's the thing. I would agree with that. It's the way this is what James Bond's supposed to be. I don't think the Daniel Craig movies really get into this portion.
I love
what James Bond's supposed to do. They're good and they're pretty good, but actual just missions instead of I think there's I could see what he means when he says that.
Yeah, and I do like that. First off, let's talk about Claire Foy. Like she is so good. I am so happy that she is transitioning to film.
Me too.
Like I know that she's been nominated and won for The Crown, the Netflix series. It also stars Matt Smith, who we were talking Star Wars with.
Okay.
It's about Queen Elizabeth and all that type of stuff, and she's won numerous times for that show. Like she's been nominated and won.
Is she Queen Elizabeth?
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen any of that show, but I saw her in First Man.
Yeah,
and then I saw her in this, and I am so happy that I'm beginning to see her because she is so good in these roles.
She's my favorite part of First Man, personally. Yeah.
She was. I like Gosling a little bit more, but she is so good opposite of him in that movie. And then this one, she just completely catapults and takes over the film.
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest. She saved the movie for me.
Okay.
I like the action beats in this movie. It's just all the other storylines I didn't necessarily like because I felt like they could have dived much more into the family aspect. With her sister, it was kind of almost like rushed in a way. It felt very rushed to me. And then some of the side characters are like okay to me. But it's focused on her. Like it's focused on her, and she's the star, and she absolutely kills it.
She does, man. I haven't seen her in anything. The first time I'd really watched her, I knew who she was, and was in
First Man.
First Man.
Yeah.
She had that one movie earlier this year where she was like in an insane asylum or something. She got trapped in tried to make her think she was crazy. Unsane, I think it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's the Soderbergh film.
Soderbergh did that.
Soderbergh did that with an iPhone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was the movie. I didn't know she was in that. I'm gonna have to watch that now.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I wanted to see that, but First Man was my first time really.
So she's had 3 movies this year.
Yeah,
dude, she's
three
awesome.
good movies.
I'm happy she's making the transition.
I love her.
Yeah.
I love having her around.
She's very powerful, and I love the and Fede Alvarez, who directed it, has somewhat of a thriller horror background with Evil Dead and then Don't Breathe. And he kind of brings that into this movie a little bit.
Yeah.
It has a very dark feel to it, and obviously it's not that type of movie, but there are moments where it goes there.
There's definitely some
like the scene that always pops up to me is the opening, but also the bathroom scene with Stephen Merchant where he gets shot.
Goodness gracious!
In front of his son. Like,
how about real quick, Stephen Merchant? I didn't know he was in this.
I didn't know, and he was awesome. He was great in his.
He's a good dramatic actor.
I haven't seen him since Logan, and I'm happy that he's popping up here and there.
Yeah.
He'll never be a leading man, but he's always a great supporting actor.
Well, he's known obviously for The Office, the British Office, and being a kind of a comedy guy. But like you said, Logan and this, he's a good dramatic actor.
He is, and so the movie definitely takes his dark turns. And I like the resolution that happened. I thought there were some really good moments in there. Like I said earlier, the action beats are really cool.
Yeah.
They use some really cool things with her and what she does. And like you said, she's a badass, dude. She's a total badass.
You mentioned the bathroom, that whole sequence, which was
against the Russian dude.
Definitely unsettling and just a real brutal. Well, and that's what I mean. The trailer obviously makes us looks like she's this super spy kicking people and flying around, and she had a tough time fighting that guy. He's a big strong dude, and she's a tiny little she's tough, but she's overpowered.
And it's also the scene with the mask.
And when she the scene with the mask. But I love the camera work in that bathroom scene where she gets that drug and the camera's all wobbling around. It makes you get that sense of disorientation
you're like,
that she's feeling.
You're kind of feeling it too.
I thought that was great. I was just because I was sitting in my seat going,
Fede Alvarez. I like what he's doing as a director. This movie, out of the three that I know him for, is the least well received. Because Evil Dead was highly received by a lot of horror fans, and then Don't Breathe was I
didn't know he did Evil Dead.
It was incredible.
Yeah, I didn't
So he did the remake of Evil Dead, which is really cool. But it's the less received out of the three, but I felt like he's made a great transition as a director, kind of doing his own thing and putting his own spin on things. And also off of that, let's talk about Lakeith Steinfeld.
I had no idea he was in this.
I knew he was in it from the trailers because there was the sniping scene. Yeah. There was a clip of it in the trailers.
Okay.
He's awesome. He's great.
He's great in this movie, man. Good. Getting more of him. Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta. He played Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton.
I forgot.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
And he was also in Get Out.
And
he played Get Out.
He was in Get
Out, and he was also. I believe he was in Sorry to Bother You earlier this year.
Yeah,
he was in Sorry to Bother You this year.
Yeah, so
he's
coming up, man.
He, as well as Claire Foy, they're both kind of popping up, and he's
great. He's great.
The role didn't require a lot from him, but it was really cool to see him in there. Like he's great. He was great opposite of Claire Foy because they're kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Right. He's basically going after her. And then they work together,
and it's kind
of a cool sequence,
right?
Yes. A very cool sequence that led him to her.
My favorite thing,
which was really cool. And then the scene where he's sniping, which is one of my favorites.
Great,
the bullets through the walls and everything is really cool.
That was really cool. That was very cool.
There's some really cool things.
It was personal for him.
Yes,
and you find out that he himself was a hacker, and a very nice
and Lisbeth Salander's friends all freaked out. It's like,
they find out he's this famous hacker. That was a really great scene.
So overall, I think that we could say that we did enjoy The Girl
in
the Spider's Web.
Loved it. I thought it was great.
And Keith lived a little bit more than I did, but I still enjoyed it. I think it's a movie that you should definitely go check out.
Absolutely.
Because it's a movie that brings up some interesting things. It has a lot of cool action scenes, and it really isn't just an enjoyable time.
What did you think of the sister, the villain? What did you think about her?
That's one of the things I didn't like.
Really?
Yeah, I felt like they could have dealt with her a little bit more.
I could see that. She didn't show up till
she didn't show up in a long. I did like the backstory as far as like with the spiders and turning their father's empire into something completely different.
Yeah.
And the spin that happened with the police director in Sweden.
I was sitting there totally. I was like, she's gonna die. I thought she's in on it. I'm thinking she's definitely in on it. As soon as he got in the car with her, I'm thinking, wait a minute, I bet she's in on it.
Yeah, and well, let's talk about the reporter too. Daniel Craig's part from the original.
That guy's good.
I thought he was really. I don't know who he is.
He's pretty good.
I thought he was really good.
He looks familiar.
And I love the backstory that they gave him and Salander because they obviously have the history and how he built his magazine off of her, and it ties back to that. And it was a cool kind of turnaround to where he. And I was shocked that he actually erased everything at the end too.
Me too.
Whole story. Yeah. And it would have been interesting to see if he did post it, what a possible sequel would do with that.
Yeah.
But it also leaves the door open now to what a possible sequel would do now that that's not there.
It's a good dynamic. You're absolutely right, and it's a good dynamic the way you can still see if it's different from the Fincher film.
Yes.
But there's still that triangle between him. Lisbeth and him and the woman he's dating from his office. They're still because that same thing was in that film as well, and he chose the woman from his office, and that really stung Lisbeth at the end of that movie, and going forward into the two stories after that. And that's still there, and so I thought that was a great addition.
Yeah, and it was cool. And like I said, I don't have any prior knowledge of the movie, but when they first interacted on those elevators, which is a cool shot, it was a really cool thing they did.
Great.
I was like, okay, like.
You can see the
feel
history.
the impact.
The history was there.
You can definitely feel it. So,
and he's just like, I haven't seen you in 3 years. And back to the sister, the villain.
I forget her name.
I'm
just gonna call her Spider.
Woman in Red.
Yeah, the woman in Red. The Black Widow. Let's call her Black Widow.
Yeah, the Red Black Widow. She was definitely ruthless, but when they're at the very end, she's making her speech when they're standing on the edge of that cliff, and
yes,
you found herself. I think it's in the trailer where she's like, "Why did you left me? Why did you
not save me?
You're the great Lisbeth Salander who goes and
protects the rights of wrong, man. Yeah.
Why did you protect everyone but me?" And you kind of find myself going, that's fair.
Yes,
that's fair.
And then Claire Foy responds.
Immediately, Claire Foy is like, "You chose him."
Yes,
you could,
and you could feel the emotion in her.
Yes.
Like for the first time in the entire movie,
right.
You felt the real impact
right.
to Salander, like what she felt when she left. Because in the beginning, it almost felt like she didn't care to leave.
Yeah.
But it impacted her entire life.
Yeah.
Like you could feel the emotion and the struggle she was having when she found out that her sister was behind all of this.
Still alive. And so,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if they ever do a sequel, it'll be interesting to see how her character is because she just saw her sister jump off a cliff.
Right.
And what they do. I know that these movies kind of take a James Bond feel where each movie is almost an individual story.
Yeah.
And so whether or not they kind of do that with the new Daniel Craig ones where they tie it in, it'll be interesting even if they do get a sequel because I hope it does because I would love to see more movies with this.
Well,
I would love to see more.
Yeah,
of this.
Absolutely. And these stories always start with her just the same way this started, as someone because she's this internet super hacker that people on the ground know who she is, and so she gets a job from someone. I need you to get this, and so that's always leads.
I hope so.
It'd
be really cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see more. I'd love to see more, especially Claire Foy. And Rooney Mara was great in the same role, but I think
I
really
like Claire Foy more. I like her more,
and
Rooney Mara is one of the best working actresses, but Claire Foy I think fits this role much more. She's really good. So. Yeah, that is our review of The Girl in the Spider's Web, the Fede Alvarez film, this reboot or sequel, whatever you want to call it, of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, starring Claire Foy and a number of other great actors and actresses. If you have not seen the movie, I'm sorry, we spoiled the movie. You read the headline, so there's
Go
that.
See it. What are you doing?
If you have seen it, head down in the comments, leave some thoughts on it. What did you think of it? Did you like Claire Foy? Would you have rather seen a sequel to the Fincher film? Leave all of your thoughts down there, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So. Again, thank you for joining Keith and I on our official review of The Girl in the Spider's Web. And until next time, see you later.